A very good evening. The exit polls from the five election-bound states have come in, and we will be looking closely at the Telangana exit polls. And while the News Minute does not have our own survey or exit poll of any sort, we will be focusing on about 4 to 5 credible agencies which have tie-ups with other news channels, and then we will look at what this means and break down the numbers for you, give you perspective, context, and also get a sense of what our reporters saw on the ground today. Shabir, we've seen a very low voter turnout. Tell us what the percentages are like and what you make out of it.
Well, as far as the Election Commission is concerned, the final voter turnout that was recorded in the state of Telangana is 64.14%, which is 3% lesser than what Telangana polled in 2018. In 2018, it was 67% voter turnout. As far as Hyderabad is concerned, it has recorded the lowest voter turnout. Hyderabad district has registered 40.69%. That's a low voter turnout as far as experts are concerned. As far as polling is concerned, by and large, it was peaceful, barring a few incidents of violence, and that too at a very small scale is what the police are telling us. And apart from that, by and large, it was very peaceful, and the voter turnout somewhere stands at 64.14%, Pooja.
That's lower than last term's turnout, which, and again, Hyderabad has recorded a record low turnout, very disappointing. Big cities, again, showing apathy, not wanting to turn up and cast their vote. We'll see what this means for each of the parties. We have a panel of not experts, but people who've been on the ground, who've been talking to people. And today as well, they were on the ground in various polling booths and getting a sense of what those who are going out to vote think and feel. If we can quickly have all our reporters on our screen, we'll introduce them before we look at the numbers.
Well, that's a big panel.
It's a big panel, but it's a panel with a lot of credibility, if I may say so. Shabir, how about we introduce all our esteemed guests today?
We have our entire TNM team that has been working on ground in Telangana. Our reporters were traveling to almost the nook and corner of Telangana to get the pulse of this election. Joining us is Yunus, our bureau chief from Telangana, and Janvi, Anjana, Bhavani, and Bala. Bala has been touring Telangana for quite some time, because he has been the senior person in the bureau, who has also done quite a few profiles in this particular election. And joining us is also Danya Rajendran, our editor-in-chief. Danya, take us through what's happening, what happened, and how do you look at the exit polls numbers?
Well, I think the numbers are not surprising, but some of the numbers are a bit bad. Most of the however, if you look at the numbers very closely,
Danya, just hold on. I think we have a little bit of audio trouble. We'll get that addressed. But I'll come to Yunus first. Yunus, your take on the exit poll numbers. Did you expect that the exit poll numbers will be something like this? These are not final results, but these are all exit poll numbers. Yeah.
No, so I think the last time also most of the exit polls were not exactly bang on. Some of them predicted a TRS win. Some of them got the exit poll. Some of the exit polls were very far away from the actual result. I think only a couple of them were close to what happened last time. This time I think within the last 3 weeks. I mean, if you would have asked me a month ago, I would have said it was most likely it would have been a clear-cut victory for BRS. But I think last 10 days, I think we have seen that. When we talk about how a situation might change in the last 2 weeks, that is the thing we've seen here. I think Congress has picked up quite a bit. So I believe it might be a close call this time. But however, at the face of it, I would still maybe give the TRS a little bit of an edge if I have to, because given the fact that they still have support of the MIM, So I would say that if between both of the BRS and the Congress, I would still say that they have the KCR still edge. That's what I would say between both of them.
Yeah,
Well,
before
Danya is
we
back.
get into, yeah,
Yeah, Danya is back. But Danya, your take on the exit poll numbers?
I must add, Dhanya has traveled quite a bit. She spent quite a bit of time in Telangana. So I want to know from Dhanya if the numbers we are seeing today reflects what she picked up on the ground. Dhanya?
Yeah, if I'm audible now.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Okay. So Yunus is still hedging his bets on KCR and BRS. We will see on December 3rd, Yunus. But see, the numbers, I find it not very surprising. We did expect that the Congress has some sort of an edge. But if you look at the numbers very clearly, no one is saying it's a huge victory for the Congress. It's definitely that the Congress has done a lot better from 2018, from a party which won just 19 seats in 2018. If they're going to climb to 50 and 60, that is a huge mandate for the Congress. But can the Congress form the government? There is one big survey which is going to come out in some time. I don't think we're supposed to give out the numbers now. But that survey really caught my eye because they have said that the BJP can win 5 to 13 seats. And the Congress and the BRS are around 50 to 55. Now, if that survey comes right, then we are going to look at a new equation completely in Telangana, where perhaps the BRS will have to tie up with not just the MIM, with the BJP. And obviously, those two cannot go together. So I think the Telangana elections, it's not really clear. And let's not forget, unlike in Tamil Nadu, where we'll hardly see people jumping immediately after an election from AIDMK or to DMK or vice versa, Telangana is worse than Karnataka. You are going to see people jumping left and right here. So,
and for no reason. It's not even to form the government. Yeah.
Yeah. So to all the 5 people on screen, which is Yunus, Bhavani, Janvi, Anjana, and Bala, my condolences in case the numbers are not clear on December 3rd. I've already told them next 1 week sleep gone, because this is a state where everybody just keeps jumping left and right.
So your offs are cancelled, guys. This must be the big news. Your offs for the next 1 week is cancelled.
But I think, Dhanya, it's not going to be that bad because we have precedent, or people jump very easily. So don't think. I mean, I think it'll be solved within 2 days because they'll probably decide immediately whatever they have to do.
Also, yeah, you must be very, very optimistic. But if we could, before we take this conversation forward, I just want to take a quick look at the numbers from 2018 so our viewers get the context of what we are talking about. Shabir, if you can take us through what the numbers were when the elections concluded in 2018. I'll tell you why I'm saying that in just a bit. But let's take a look at the numbers, vote share and seat share, if we could get the graphics going.
Well, that's right, Pooja. 2018 elections where KCR sprung a surprise. He called in for early elections and he did not give any time for the opposition parties to step up their game as far as Telangana elections were concerned. So the vote share in 2018 for the BRS was 46.9%, and for the Congress it was 28.4%. For AIMIM it was 22.7%, and for the BJP it was 7%, and TDP it was 3.5%. So if you convert this into seats, so here is the seat share. BRS won 88 seats, whereas Congress won 19 seats with 27 with 28.4% vote share, and the BJP won 1 seat, AIMIM 7 seats, TDP 2 seats, and others 2. So this is how the seat share goes, and what happened after the elections was something which was which is what Danya and Pooja were pointing out. Pooja, over to you. So what happened after the 2018 elections and the results?
Yeah. So in states like Karnataka and Madhya Pradesh, we see people jumping parties to form government. So there is some reason, at least, not that we are endorsing that behavior, but there is some reason and logic behind it. But in Telangana, we've seen serial jumpers. Even in 2014, in 2018, we saw people from Congress, and before that even in TDP, jump to the BRS, then TRS, even though TRS had the numbers on their own and formed the government. So this is one state where we've seen that the government has been formed and there are people from the opposition party just jumping to the ruling party. I want to quickly show you what the numbers look like after all the jumping of the ship happened. That's BRS for you. The seat share went up drastically. The seat share was 101. Congress was reduced to 5 seats. MIM retained its 7 MLAs, BJP 3, and others 2. There was one vacant because of a death. Why these numbers are also important is this kind of showed the shaped the nature, the political landscape of Telangana, because the opposition is negligible because MIM supports the ruling BRS. So if you look at opposition, that's just 5 plus 3 plus 2, almost a non-existent opposition in assembly. Let's quickly have a chat with our reporters before we look at the exit poll numbers. Dhanya, before we go to our reporters, do you see a lot of jumping around happening? Is Sanya still with us?
So I think she has a bad connection, so it's gone. Yeah, she's
No, no,
back
no.
there.
Yeah. I don't know about, definitely there will be people who will jump ship. I think there are already conversations happening within the parties. That's what all the parties are saying. But I had spoken to both Congress and BRS. Now, in the last 2 weeks itself, the numbers have drastically changed. I think Eunice can tell us more about it. But from the BRS telling us confidently 75, I think they've now come down to 55 or 60. But they're still confident of forming the government because let's not forget the MIM will have 6 to 8, 7 seats at least. So, in case it does not happen, I think both parties will try to make people come to their side. Now, here what matters, of course, is money. Who can shore up more money? Because as we have seen in Karnataka, it's for the highest payment side that people go to, and perhaps the BRS may have an upper hand if it comes down to.
If it's a formal alliance, I think Congress is isolated, and because BRS can have an alliance with MIM and maybe not even averse to forming an alliance with the BJP, whereas the Congress will probably have to talk to individual MLAs, cannot talk to any of the parties, right?
Yes, the Congress cannot align with the BJP. The Congress could have aligned with the MIM, but the last 1 year we have seen that relationship deteriorate a lot. In fact, I think Revanth Reddy told Eunice in that interview that he will not align with AIMIM. So did OIC to Pooja. But of course, in politics, no is never a no. However, things are not good between the AIMIM and Congress. Remember, out of the dozen parties which did not join the India Alliance, AIMIM is one.
And the other is BRS.
I would always say that my money would be on the AIMIM if it has to go back to the Congress, because let's not forget it was already with the Congress long ago. They only had an issue with Kiran Kumar Reddy, before 2014. So that's a different story. But I would, however, still say that the Muslim vote in this election is what is going to make a very big difference, because that's probably, if you look at last election also, I think out of the GHMC areas, out of 24, 25 seats in Hyderabad, GHMC area or Greater Hyderabad, you have certain areas, for example, like Nizamabad, I think maybe even Siddipet, Karimnagar, Adilabad, where you have Muslim votes ranging between maybe 10 to 20% depending on the seat. So I think there will be a bunch of crucial fights where the AIMIM support will make a very big difference. So I think I'm not honestly I'm in line with a bit of what Dhanya says, but then I'm still going to say that given the fact that AIMIM is supporting BRS outside of an alliance as well, I think it still has a bit of an edge. Yeah, I think the others. I think Anjana, Bhavani, Dhanya, they've all been out. So I think they might be able to give us a better picture on the ground for that matter.
Yeah.
I think.
So if
Yeah.
I might,
Yeah,
if I
I
could
want to know what Anjana has to say. Go on, Anjana. Yeah.
right. Okay. So Revanth Reddy just, I think, less than an hour ago, spoke about how the four main enemies of Telangana are the four MLA leaders of the BRS from the Kalvakuntla family. He was referring to the chief minister, he was referring to Harish Rao, who's the finance minister, and then KCR's offsprings, right? Like KTR and Kavita. And he said these are the four main enemies, and everybody else are just victims of their circumstance, which I read, I might be off, but I read as a code for okay, we are going to, now gently pacify in case we need to ally with people. And realistically, I wouldn't be surprised if I see them reaching out to individual MLAs from MIM. And how well it'll board is anyone's guess. But he has opened up that door. This was, I think, the first step he's taken, and he's opened up that door because while he's confident of getting a lot of seats, he's not confident of forming the majority, and that's coming through for the Telangana
Yeah.
Congress.
Yeah, in the last couple of months, we've seen a lot of change. BRS, which was so confident that they announced the candidate list in August, failed to retain some of their strong leaders, and now we are at a stage where, for the first time in the United Andhra, and even after bifurcation, we could very well see a hung assembly if the numbers are anything to go by. Shabir, do you want to look at the numbers before we go back to our reporters? I just want to plug here before we do that, sorry, that unlike other news channels who have experts who are sitting out of Delhi and predicting based on second-hand information, I'm very proud to say that our panel of our reporters are people who've been speaking to voters, who are speaking to their sources inside each of the parties, and the information that we're getting is not through WhatsApp or second-hand sources, but directly from the horse's mouth. So that's something we're very, very proud of. Shabir, back to you.
Well, the exit polls are out, and the exit polls show more or less, Congress has an edge in this particular election. If I have to just say the numbers, India TV and CNX exit poll suggest that BRS will get somewhere around 31 to 47 seats, and Congress will get 63 to 79 seats, and BJP will get 2 to 4, and AIMIM will get 5 to 7, and Jan Ki Baat has given 40 to 55 seats for BRS, and 48 to 64 seats for the Congress, and 7 to 13 seats for the BJP, and 4 to 7 for the AIMIM. And News 24 and today's Chanakya, their numbers suggest that BRS will win 33 constituencies, and Congress will get 71, which is a huge number, and BJP will win around 7 seats. And apart from that, there are also a couple of surveys, exit polls, which is TV9 Bharatvarsh, which gives 48 to 58 seats for the BRS, and 49 to 59 seats for the Congress, and 5 to 10 seats for the BJP, and 6 to 8 for AIMIM. To win Telangana elections, you need to get 60 seats. That's the magic number. So at least a few exit polls suggest that Congress has an advantage, but still India Today and Axis My India poll is not yet out, because they have been consistently predicting elections through exit polls, and more or less their strike rate is also very good. But there is also another survey, like Dania pointed out, which is coming out at around 9 p.m., which is a C voters.
Okay, we'll just get Shabir back up. We'll take a closer look at the numbers in just a bit. Once the numbers form up. But I want to know from Bala. Bala, for viewers who've not seen his interview of Sitaka and read the copy, he followed one of the Congress candidates. She's a two-time legislator seeking a third term from Mulugu. Bala, tell us why she's significant and what you made out of that campaign.
Sitaka is an important leader in Telangana, amongst the women leaders particularly, because she has been a very interesting figure, because how she started out and how she has now taken up a role of a public leader. And she has won the elections twice. So I thought I should definitely speak to this person who has made a major transition to her career, if I may say so.
Yeah, that's a very interesting profile that Bala has done in the interviews. Also interesting, and I would urge you, while we are putting the numbers, you could quickly visit our website and read that as well. I want to also discuss YSRTP, although they did not contest the elections. Bhavani, if I can come to you on that. We did speak to Vaya Sharmila Thanya, and I did an elaborate interview of Vaya Sharmila, who for about 2.5 years tried to build her party, and she was primarily targeting, the settlers vote, the Reddy vote, uh, perhaps Christian votes as well, and some of probably she would have eaten into the Congress vote. But the fact that she decided to not contest elections and instead announce her support to the Congress, do you think will also be a factor, Bhavani, or that's insignificant? What do you think?
It might not be significant all over the state. It should be only restricted to places like Khammam and maybe in Nalgonda and Nalgonda district.
Mhm.
Uh, we see that leaders from BRS have switched to Congress in these areas only, like in Khammam area. So she might have thought that contesting will split the vote and hurt Congress in a electorally. So why? I think she did that will help Congress win. She also told in the interview that she didn't want to contest because she didn't want BRS to win, not because she want to stand as a politician or as a political make a significant identity in the politics.
Yeah, we saw a lot of anti-BRS voices, parties coming and supporting the Congress. In fact, Professor Kodandaram, who was very closely involved in the Telangana movement as well, announced his support to the Congress. And his reason was that we want to bring down this government, and Congress seemed like a viable option. So we are campaigning for the Congress. So it seemed like that was the sentiment on the ground. And I want to go to Janvi to get her sense of what were the important issues these elections, because she's done a lot of data crunching, and unemployment was something that we heard a lot of people talk about. Janvi, tell us what is the situation on the job front, and do you think that's a factor, that's something people were thinking of when they went out to vote?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because providing government jobs is one of the biggest promises since Telangana was formed. So, uh, I think over the years, like now, I mean, in recent years, there's been a lot of dissatisfaction, especially over the recruitment processes, right? Because especially when the Telangana Public Services Commission paper leak happened, so till now, Group 1 exams haven't been held because of that. They haven't been reconducted. And even other exams held by this commission, the Group 2 exams have been delayed, and just across recruitment boards, there have been issues with the process, and candidates have complained about mismanagement and just unfair processes, and they've gone to court. And so a lot of recruitments have been stalled, even by the government figures itself. They say they've filled 1.6 lakh government jobs in the past 9 years, but just around 30,000 of them have been in the second term, the past 4 years. So lately, recruitment has been very slow. And like, I mean, partly it could be due to COVID and other reasons, but especially because of all these. I mean, you can see all this mismanagement allegations, and there's definitely like a lot of mistrust and resentment, specifically about government jobs. Even when it comes to private jobs, for that matter, of course, the government shows a lot of IT and industrial growth, but a lot of it is sort of concentrated around Hyderabad. So that is one issue, and also with private jobs. One complaint is that, I mean, people believe that it's not necessarily just Telangana youth benefiting from it, so they still don't have access to very good opportunities. Even the quality of jobs wise, they're sort of unhappy. So all of these things put together, like jobs have become like one of the major issues. Even if you look at the manifestos, BRS has just said that it will get a job calendar. It has promised a job calendar for government jobs for the next year. But if you look at BJP and Congress, they've made very grand promises of like increasing recruitment in government jobs. And Congress has even said that it will ensure 75% reservation for local youth in certain private companies, which BRS has clearly taken a stand against. So, yeah, all of these issues combined, I think jobs has been a major issue for young people.
Yeah, as we get our first first set of cards up for the exit polls, which Shabir will take us through, I want to quickly look at the questions that we're getting. Anjaneya Prasad asks if exit polls are reliable or they're just big time pass. We're hoping they're reliable, but we'll not rely on them completely. We want to look at what the pattern is. And of course, on December 3rd, we will come with the actual numbers and we will discuss them. But also the idea is to get a sense of what everyone is saying and weigh the options. Somebody says Bala is being very generous. Bala, you want to respond to that?
I don't know. Is this some troll or what?
We will take it positively.
Wherever you go, Bala, somebody follows you. So you better answer.
Right. Can we just have a first set of graphics and Shabir will take us through the numbers?
Yes, so these are the exit polls numbers. TV9 Bharat Varsh poll strat. It's giving 48 to 58 seats for BRS, and for the Congress 49 to 59. The magic number is 60 seats, and as far as the BJP is concerned, it's 5 to 10, and AIMIM it's 6 to 8 seats. P mark it's 37 to 51, and 58 to 71 for Congress, and 2 to 6 for the BJP, and 6 to 8 for AIMIM and others 1. Jan Ki Baat is giving 40 to 55 seats for BRS, and 48 to 64 seats for the Congress, and 7 to 13 seats for the BJP, and 4 to 7 seats for AIMIM. And India TV CNX, for BRS it's 31 to 47 seats, and for the Congress it's 63 to 79 seats, and for the BJP it's 2 to 4 seats, and for the MIM it's 5 to 7 seats. So these are the numbers. So coming back to you, Yunus, are you surprised with these numbers for the Congress? Like you said that you
No,
still bet
actually,
on KCR, but the numbers have a different story altogether.
I'm just saying that TRS has an edge, but the numbers are definitely not surprising. In fact, a couple of people I know from last time also, like some of them got it
I
very
see
very.
Eunice turning, looking at the numbers. Eunice, too late for that.
I'm still saying I'm still holding to what I said. The exit polls. The interesting part is the BJP number for me because last time they got only one. So more than BJP, more than BRS and Congress, I'm actually curious to see how well BJP does because I think this will have a very 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 serious impact on the next elections because the BJP, as far as I understand, if you look at the last leg of the campaigning, Yogi Adityanath, Modi, they were all. I mean, they bought everybody that they could. Himanta Biswa Sharma, people who maybe not have necessarily even had an impact. They brought literally everybody that we could think of, including Prakash Javadekar. So if you look at the areas that they were campaigning in, it's primarily Hyderabad, Sangareddy, and they've been to closer areas to Hyderabad. So I think in these areas, especially in the urban areas, the towns of Telangana and Hyderabad GTMC area is where BJP will have an impact. I believe the reason I'm also still saying TRS has an edge is because BJP cannot go down below what it had last time. So it is definitely going to go up from wherever it was last time, right? It got one seat only. It is Gosha Mahal. Raja Singh himself may not necessarily win, but a couple of others might win. And I think whatever they eat into will be the Congress vote and not the BRS vote because it will eat into anti-incumbency votes, right? The reason I'm saying BRS has an edge because even if you remove Sharmila, even if you factor Sharmila out, you still have Pawan Kalyan who is supporting BJP, and Pawan Kalyan may have an impact in certain areas where you have people from Andhra who are staying in Telangana, right? So like last time, I think in the Malkajgiri area, I think Bala will probably know this better than me because it's closer to where he stays. But I think Pawan Kalyan's Jansena got 28,000 votes in the Malkajgiri seat. It's a fairly good number for a party that has nothing in Telangana, right? So you have Pawan Kalyan supporting the BJP, and I think both of them together. Now, you factor out the TDP. So if TDP's general voters don't have options, they will have to either vote. The closest for them is the BJP because BJP, people forget, traditionally has been the TDP's alliance partner for
I
long.
disagree slightly there, Eunice, because a lot of people that I spoke to, of course, you've reported there from there longer, but a lot of people who were traditionally TDP voters, settlers including, were looking at Congress this time, which was a very surprising
Correct.
trend, because they felt Revant Reddy was a TDP person, and also because of the community.
No,
Bala?
previously also, in fact, Revanth Reddy, who is the present MP for a parliamentarian from the same Malkajgiri constituency, and primarily he won because he has a lot of the constituency has a lot of settlers, like what we call
Yeah.
settlers, Andhra settlers.
Let's
So
explain to our viewers who are not familiar with the term settlers, Bala.
okay, so they are natives of Andhra who have settled in Hyderabad and who have made a living, and it's quite unfortunate that we still call them settlers. They are part of the state, but for some distinction, we still categorize them as settlers. So anyway, the point is, Malkajgiri is a very interesting constituency. It's one of the biggest constituency, parliamentary wise. It is a huge constituency. Probably in India,
24 lakhs the
yeah,
number.
in India is the biggest constituency actually. So it has a composition of different groups, and approximately it has some 3 lakh Tamilian voters in the
Yeah,
constituency.
yeah.
So along with them, we have the Andhra population as well. So
Also,
yeah,
how will Pawan Kalyan make an influence
yeah,
effect
and
on the?
yeah,
He never
and
been to the poll in
completely,
any campaign.
yeah, the wave
Pawan
has
Kalyan just brings a star power beyond
see,
that.
for everything the crowd might go, but there is no way that people are going to vote for what
Convert that
Pawan
into
Kalyan is
votes.
saying at
Yeah.
all. Not in this election at all, because there has been a clear anger against the BRS particularly from the TDP side, for not allowing them to conduct rallies, for what they felt that the injustice was done to Chandrababu Naidu in Andhra Pradesh. When they wanted to conduct rallies here in protest, those weren't allowed. So this was clearly seen as some sort of revenge played by both Jagan and KCR, and that is going to play out. I mean that kind of negatively has affected KCR. I mean, though they try to make amends later, the damage was done. So I think it doesn't matter what Pawan Kalyan says, or what kind of appeal he brings, saying that he's from the backward class community. I don't think the Andhra people are going to be siding with the BJP in that sense.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to quickly go
On a
to Anjana. Anjana, can you tell us what exactly worked in favor of the Congress party? Because until a few months ago, we all I'm from outside Telangana, so when I was looking at Telangana, what the ground reports were that it's BJP versus KCR, so that's how this fight is going to pan out. But all of a sudden, there was a Congress
Shabir watches
resurgence
too many.
or
Shabir
revival.
watches too much national channels.
No, no, that's how it was reported, or that's how it was projected, as far
Yeah.
as outside the state. So I just wanted to know how did Congress revive itself, or what worked in favor of Congress, and how come Revant Anna became a force to reckon with in Telangana all of a sudden in a matter of 3-4 weeks?
I
I think it would be an understatement to say that he's been a man to reckon with in just 3 weeks.
No, I mean, Revant Reddy has always brought this whole, he's like a very dazzler kind of personality, right? Like he'll come and he'll do like he'll try to like quote unquote seize the CMO office and all that. So you have like Revant, he's no, people know Revant Reddy because of his antics. That's all I'll say. So
I think you're being a little harsh on him. Revant Reddy did kind of bring in a little bit of energy. He did kind of rejuvenate the party.
He
Uttam
did.
Kumar Reddy, his predecessor, had been the party president for quite some time, and many people thought that he didn't do much. In fact, some even accused him of being KCR's man in Congress. Uh, Also, the fact that repeatedly Congress MLAs were leaving the party and going to TRS had been a big hit for the morale, which Revant kind of revived. I think he made it seem like it's a party with a purpose, all the criticism aside. But most importantly, also pumped in a little bit of money. Congress was really cash strapped in Telangana, and he at least tried to rectify that. So yeah, this is something
I,
politicians don't say, and we can. Bala?
I think
Full
he did something.
Telugu movie effect. His songs are all like full of
Yeah,
vibration.
no, I'm
Huh?
coming to that. So what happened? What has happened is, after Vice Rajశేఖర్ Reddy, we didn't have any such a charismatic leader in that sense, who would you know try to project themselves as a strong leader. So Revanth Reddy, he tried to do that. So even during the Bharat Jodo Yatra or anywhere, it wouldn't, more than Rahul Gandhi, you would see the face of Revanth Reddy, his songs, and his particular management, people who have been hyping him. So all this essentially gave into a, created a illusion that this is a man, like, everyone was waiting for in Congress. So
Yeah.
he cultivated such an image. Now he is a de facto, I mean, he has been denying that, the party will take a decision, the party will take a
In
decision
typical
on this.
Congress style.
Correct. But it has been decided for long that he is going to be the chief minister candidate. He is not going to leave that post at any cost. And
I,
if at all the Congress is, decides against it, there might be a possibility that, Revanth Reddy might like take all his followers and form a different government altogether.
Bala, I met a Congress leader this afternoon, and he was telling me if the Congress party high command has to decide, there are two Reddys who are fighting. One is Uttam Kumar Reddy, and another one is Revanth Reddy for the top post. So probably it will be the CLP leader who will get a chance, Bhatti Vikramarka. So I don't know. That's what the buzz is within the Congress leadership outside the state, but. Like I said, Anjana, tell me, what did you see on ground, and how did things change for the Congress party?
It wasn't so much pro Congress as it was, and all of us have been like talking about this for a while now. It wasn't so much pro Congress as it was anti KCR and anti BRS, and that's how it's played out. So I would still maintain in my limited expertise that the starting point of it was when Medigadda, like really big, like one, focal moment was when one of the Kaleshwaram's barrages pier sank. And I think that was when like they really blew up. And Congress also campaigned beautifully. They had like really interesting, funny, humorous ads which they used to speak about how the BRS is a terrible government. They had one which I think was done away with after a point where they had a KCR impersonator and who
No,
was
but
basically
those are
pushing.
all cosmetic things, right? Like, but
No, no. So those are
the
cosmetic
Congress has
things.
been campaigning for so long, like since the inception of Bharat Jodo Yatra. They
No,
have
but
been.
I didn't think any of us
Revanth
thought
Reddy has
that.
been touring districts, like,
Bala, it
he,
makes sense at the end. No,
So
it's like it's more like a final push. The whole social media campaign, or what Anjana is saying, right? You would not see KCR is still at the end of the day. I think right now the only person who does not actually have an equal in the sense of political figure. You have an Naidu in Andhra and you have Jagan, but you don't have anybody rivaling KCR even to he's still quote unquote Telangana father in that way if you want to put. But what I'm trying to say is like for the first time you yeah, that's what people say. See, if you for the first time you had somebody impersonating KCR and making fun of him in a video, because I have not seen that last time as far as I remember, right? They broke down the image of KCR into an ordinary person, which for the longest time because of the whole Telangana thing was in a way something people would not do that to. I think this time you have seen Congress
I
attack
think
KCR
that
in a
is a
much more
typical Revanth Reddy strategy, because he has
fair enough.
never, went on the back foot, like, trying to, pull back his punches. He went all out.
Fair enough.
He
Absolutely.
made it very extremely personal. And in politics, of course, there might be a position where they have to share greetings, but the kind of campaign which happened for all these years, I don't think there'll be such a amicable relationship with the both Revanth Reddy, even for that matter, Revanth Reddy and KTR, because
Yeah, definitely.
ugly things were shared.
Yeah, I
but
want
it
actually
it
Anjana to come in on this, on the kind of language. I know she feels very strongly about this. Anjana, you were very upset with the kind of language MLAs used. I know that you were fuming, but do tell us. It's a serious topic. The political discourse kept going lower and lower. Uh, Is that something you think KCR started, or was it from the Congress's side, Ravind's side?
What, whether one was more abusive than the other? I don't
Yeah.
think that necessarily happened. I think they both they both were on par with each other. In fact, Ravindra in today's press conference turned around and said that, okay, while we are in opposition, we can speak however we want, but we assure all people that if and when we form, no, he said when we form the government, we'll speak the language which elected representatives should speak. But I again like to reinforce the point that it wasn't. I did not see this love for Congress as much while, and I've been to, including Hyderabad, I think 9 to 10 districts I've traveled across, and it wasn't love for Congress which worked out. What primarily was, everybody was very angry with KCR, right? So, like, somebody in Gajwel
Yeah.
would point, say, his farmhouse is here, and like would laugh, or somebody else would speak about how, what did we get? We got nothing. And so that sentiment recurred time and again, and a lot of people, and this, of course, is not something I asked, but they offered it voluntarily, and they said that we voted for KCR the last 2 times, we voted for BRS the last 2 times. This is not something we're not going to make this mistake again. And the next best alternative they would go with was Congress, right? Because there wasn't like a strong, this is again selection bias. So I didn't speak to a lot of people about, and it did not even come up about the BJP. So I wouldn't know what that set of the populace thinks. But a lot of people I spoke to volunteered the information and said, yes, Congress works. So that's what happened. As for the language, I think it's like a part of the landscape of Telangana politics, and we made up peace with it. It's not something we like, but we accept it.
I know you've not made your peace with it, Anjana. You have not.
So I
No,
think
I
probably
think that
she'll
something which
write a
happened.
story. She'll write a story after elections, an angry story from Anjana. But
Anjana is an angry young
yeah, I
person.
want to go to Janvi. I want to ask her about the anti-incumbency factor. How much of it has played in this particular election? Anti-incumbency against KCR. Because in 2018, in fact, KCR met a couple of journalists who came from Delhi, and he said that there is pro-incumbency wave in Kerala that is in my favor. But yeah, that was in 2018. Yeah. So there is
Yeah.
no opposition, and there is no one to oppose me. So that was a situation. But how exactly is the anti-incumbency that played a big factor in this election?
Yeah, I mean, even the 2018 numbers like resonate with what he claimed, right? The vote share also increased like quite considerably along with the seat share. But uh, but yeah, this time at least the conversations that have been happening like before the election, whether it's the campaigns or on the ground, the issues that people have been raising. I already spoke about jobs, right? But again, Anjana said, the whole Kaleshwaram thing, it really blew up. So when the two main barrages, there were issues, the pier sank and another barrage leaked. This whole like engineering marvel narrative around Kaleshwaram, right? Until then, it was this whole like KCR's uh, this big achievement of KCR and like the
Pet
largest
project.
irrigation project and everything. I think that sort of got punctured. And I mean, already there were corruption allegations, I guess, but also like the optics of this whole thing and Congress putting up this 1 lakh crore ATM and saying that it's an ATM for KCR's family and all that. So I think that really reinforced that narrative of this family being very corrupt and accumulating a lot of wealth in the past 9 years. Whether there is like strong evidence for it or not, the narrative at least I think was sort of strengthened.
Yeah, I
And
think it's all about narrative.
Janvi, I want to ask you, in 2018 elections or even before that, KCR had this strong regional appeal. When KCR is fighting against two national political parties, the regional appeal matters. And him being a regional satrap, that is something which will give him an added advantage in these elections. Is the Jai Telangana factor diminishing, or is that something that has not, you know, uh, that has not been bought over by the voters this time around? If at all,
yeah, I mean,
things are going very difficult for KCR.
yeah, I'm not sure if the Telangana sentiment was really like still very strong thing among people. I mean, of course, the party also went national itself, and it was trying to expand in other states. And at the same time, like this whole cultural image that it had of like promoting Telangana culture of festivals and things like that. I think that also it kind of got a bit sidelined in this whole national party. Sorry.
No,
I,
I
I,
think
wa- I disagree to
TDP
Bala.
coming out of the race and even Sharmila getting out of the contest made it impossible for them to use Telangana region sentiment again, because they
Okay.
see both this TDP and Sharmila as outsiders, so to speak. So that again, they couldn't use that.
But is it not true that the Telangana sentiment has evolved? Because it's been 10 years. You can't.
Of course, it has
right?
evolved. Of course, it
You
has
have to
evolved.
talk about other things. You have to talk about how much more can be done. And is KCR the only face of the Telangana movement? These
No,
are
but
questions that
until
ask.
when Sharmila, even when Sharmila still was around, they still try to
Yeah.
invoke the same thing. But now that both of them had opted out of the race, there was no such they couldn't use that anymore.
Yeah. And also,
Okay.
Yeah,
No.
go ahead.
No, I was
First
just saying,
Janvi and then Anjana.
obviously, like technically counts as an Andhra face, but I don't know if the same their narrative against TDP and YSRTP would apply to them. But
yeah, I think you're
I
right.
think the Telangana sentiment did become about how I saw it change was everybody in the opposition brought up the fact that so Congress leaders especially, right, they kept saying stuff like we supported the Telangana movement because we thought that is how development would happen, and but this man has betrayed the sentiments. The underlying subtext in several speeches was you betrayed the sentiment of the martyrs, you betrayed the sentiment of the martyrs, and
Yeah.
I don't think it became a ground level discussion as much, but it figured in every single speech from the opposition, all of
No,
them.
Yeah.
Congress.
even the man who headed that joint action committee for Telangana, Kodandraman, had
Vedanta.
different things to say in that
Yeah.
interview to
No,
Pooja.
the regional
He was quite
sentiment
disillusioned.
has transformed into something else. In the sense,
Yeah.
the whole purpose of the statehood was, I mean, it had three purposes: Nilu, Nidulu, Niyamakalu, which is water, employment, and revenue. So, the primary allegation, I mean, the primary criticism which the BRS, I mean, couldn't actually effectively give a counter to was the unemployment crisis in the state. They couldn't they had to admit that there was a lot of faults from their end, because they couldn't conduct the state public service commission exams at all. So the point was, the Telangana sentiment, it became about how they felt betrayed, that for something they fought for way back in 2014, they couldn't get their fundamental employment yet. It's been 9 years that many people haven't got their jobs yet.
Yeah.
For that primary reason, we had one interesting candidate. Her name is they call her Barelaka. She contested just to highlight the crisis. So she contested from Kolhapur just to highlight the crisis of unemployment. And there was another person from Gajwel itself, from where KCR has been traditionally contesting, Gajwel itself, and Hari Babu. He also contested just to highlight the crisis of unemployment. So they, of course, there is Telangana region sentiment, not against others, but within the ruler, the so-called ruler, from against
The,
him. So they have been demanding, what have you done?
Yeah, it's actually a good point you make, Bala, because elections eventually are seen in terms of numbers, right? Who wins, how much, who loses. But there's also another purpose to talk about issues that matter to people. Even in the Lok Sabha elections, when the turmeric farmers stood against Kavita, the message was that this is an issue that needs to be highlighted, and now is the time we can do that. So, unemployment was one such theme. I want to quickly read some of the comments, some of the questions. Akshay Kumar asked, are we going towards hung? Could very well happen if the
No.
exit polls are anything to go by. But there is no tradition of hung assembly in the Telugu states. This is not Karnataka, where we are time and again seeing hung assemblies and we were tired of it. But yeah, it's a smaller state, mind you, 119 seats. So chances of a hung assembly are lower, but never say never. Beda
There is
Brati
also, Pooja, there is also one more question from Faiz Ahmad. He
yeah.
asks, how about Congress BJP coalition government? So I think Hyder Ali, Tipu Sultan, everything will come back into Hyderabad again. So
If they manage to form a government together, I don't know what we'll do after that for a living. No,
I
we'll
mean,
all just retire.
then it's bigger.
we
Maybe I
will
can go back to
we will
Begum
send
Bazar and
back
ask more
Yunus. We will
Hyder,
send back
Hyder Ali.
Yunus to go attend another BJP rally and ask questions to those right-wing people who are saying Hyderabad ka naam Hyder Ali hai. Hyder Ali se aaya hai. What was that?
Yeah, definitely. You can ask them more questions about Hyder Ali. You can ask them more questions about. Maybe we'll hear some news stories about KCR, KTR also there. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. We'll look at the
Also,
numbers one more time. Let's have the graphics up. I'll come back to you, Anjana. If you could just have the numbers up, we'll look, look at them and get back to the conversation. There you have it. The TV9 Bharatvash poll strat numbers. BRS, they've given 48 to 58. Congress 49 to 59. BJP 5 to 10 seats. MIM 6 to 8 seats out of the 9 that they contested. Others nil. The next is PMark. Initially, the Republic TV went with PMark and then they switched to another polls. We don't know the reason, but the PMark numbers stand at 37 to 51 to BRS, 58 to 71 to Congress, 2 to 6 for BJP, 6 to 8 for MIM, 0 to 1 for others. Jan Ki Baat gives 40 to 50 seats to the BRS, 48 to 64 to Congress, 7 to 13 to the BJP, MIM 4 to 7. India TV and CNX gives 31 to 47 to the BRS, 63 to 79 to the Congress. That's big. 2 to 4 to the BJP, 5 to 7 to the MIM. So the MIM range remains by and large the same, but the numbers show that nobody has given a simple majority to the BRS, and that is something which is a game changer. And if I could take the discussion back to our reporters, I want to go back to what worked in Congress's favor, and we'll quickly look at each factors and have a brief discussion on whether or not you think that's a factor. So I'll start with
Also, one
yeah.
more quick announcement. If you have any questions, do send us. Our reporters will answer all those questions. So I would ask all our viewers to, you know, post it in the comment box. If they have any questions, please ask. Please feel free to ask about the exit polls, numbers, elections, and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah, irrespective of whether Congress wins or not, I think it is clear that they are performing spectacularly well compared to last terms. They were not even in the race. It was almost a given that BRS will come back for a third term. So the very fact that it is so close itself is quite big. So I want to know what worked in their favor. Now, Bhavani, I want to know from you, do you think Bharat Jodo had any impact? Do you think that did any good to the Congress at all?
More than Congress leaders doing something for the Congress, it was the BRS leaders who jumped and did something for the Congress. The wave they started with formulating and Timman Nagesh went out, it did not end up. It went on even to the Sarpanch MPDC level. That means a lot in the ground. That's what I think they had done a lot to Congress to become the second one in the race.
Yeah. Actually, I want to know from Yunus. He's written many copies about, he kept a very close tab of all the BRS leaders jumping to Congress. Right, Yunus? I remember editing at least 2 to 3 of those copies a week. So
Yeah.
the fact that BRS announced its candidate list very early, trying to project confidence that we don't have to wait to see what others are doing and we know our game and this is what we're going to go with. Did that give time for BRS leaders to negotiate with the other parties and for
I think
Congress
it
to poach
did.
some of them?
Yeah, I think it did also. What I was told was that it also allowed opposition, like especially the Congress, to carefully curate its list and make sure that it can calculate who it should put up against the PRS. think that, I mean, last time also, for example, even the MIM declared its candidates 3 months in advance, and this time they didn't. But KCR, I mean, you started seeing who's starting to shift from where to where. I think a couple of weeks or a month and a half before the election, August is when we saw BRS coming out with its list, and I think mostly it was okay, but I guess a lot of the anti-incumbency could have also been a result of this exact thing, because if you remember, a bunch of the MLAs, many of whom were renominated again this time, were also ex-Congress MLAs who shifted to the BRS. So you saw a lot of angry leaders from the BRS also leaving and going to the Congress. So especially if you combine that with anti-incumbency, it is definitely bound to take a hit for the ruling party. I think all of these factors do matter. I think probably where Anjana went to the end, Khammam, to meet Bhatti Vikramarka. That I think will also be a very good indicator, because I think Tummala Nageshwar Rao, and you have a bunch of the Konguliti Srinivas Reddy, Paler. I think these are the seats where we'll also see, get a good idea of how much of anti-incumbency is there. I don't know. I think Anjana on ground can probably tell us a little bit more.
Yeah,
No, no, I
Anjana, I have very specific questions for you because you were on the ground. I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you very specific questions. Now, I'm very interested to see if the Congress did make such huge gains, where did they gain those numbers from, right? By and large, Hyderabad has stuck with BRS because, I mean, a lot of BRS's work has been centered in Hyderabad. And there is also a projection that KTR has done a lot to bring in employment in the private sector and a lot of big companies. And he's very tech savvy. He's on Twitter talking to people and all of that. But it's the rural areas. And one of our, in fact, one of our viewers also commented that Hyderabad is with the Congress and is with BRS, I beg your pardon, and rural areas have voted for. Here you are. Vedabrata Guha Nyogi, sorry if I didn't get your name right. You say Hyderabad will vote for BRS, rural Telangana might swing in favor of Congress. It does look like that. Anjana, I want to know the situation in Khammam, Nalgonda, and Mehboob Nagar. Some of these areas are Congress strongholds. So, what do you think happened in these three districts? We're looking at 10, 12, and 14 seats, right, in these three districts?
10 and Khammam, yeah.
Yeah.
So Nalgonda and Mehboob, they've been confident of these two seats for a long time now. 3 months ago, I spoke to a Congress leader in the state, and he said, "Yeah, there is no doubt in my mind that these seats are secure for us." Right? Khammam has politics which are a little more fleshed out. I'll just add one more thing. Yunus covered quite a bit of it, but one thing which is interesting is a lot of the Chaudhry Kamma vote in Khammam town and across the district is with the TDP. And after Chandrababu Naidu's arrest and his now bail, that sentiment is very strong. So with TDP coming with Congress, that those votes trickle in very easily into the Congress. In fact, amusingly enough, and even though Janasena and Pawan Kalyan are going with the BJP, on ground, a lot of people were like, yeah, Pawan Kalyan is with Congress only now. So I don't think that center state distinction was, it might have been a little lost on people, and it does get tricky and confusing at times, right? So it might have been lost on a few people, but there were a few people who completely were certain about the fact that Pawan Kalyan was somehow with Congress, even though that's not the case at all. So those Kapu votes are also trickling in into the favor of Congress. So that is where Khammam's politics become interesting.
Also,
Yeah, I want to
Sharad
quickly read
Babu
a
has
couple of
asked a question. Yeah, Sharad Babu has a question for us. He's saying, why are you not talking about the 5 guarantees announced by the Congress? I think it's something
6
which has
guarantees.
played a crucial role in this election. Bala and Bhavani?
Correct. So the 5 guarantees, when the announcement was made in here in Tukuguda, Sonia Gandhi had come. So it was a huge, I mean, amongst women particularly, it created such a huge discussion. So of course, if the Congress has a lot of credibility or a lot of goodwill, it is because of the promises which they made, the guarantees which they made.
Okay.
Even
And
the
Bhavani, yeah, Bhavani, is that the same sentiment in KCR's constituency, which you visited in Gajwel and in other parts where you traveled? The Congress guarantees were very popular there, and it made a difference for the Congress's campaign.
Definitely not in constituencies where KCR and his family members are contesting, because in Siddipet district there is Gajwel and Siddipet constituency also. From Gajwel, where KCR is there, it's BJP wave, it's not Congress wave. The person Narsa Reddy, he's not known much. People see Itala more than the Congress candidate, and it's the same in another Kamareddy constituency also. But in Siddipet, people are happy with Harish Rao a lot, because he has improved the town into a city. Like it's very scenic. There are posh roads. The prices of the the prices of the land has increased to crores of rupees. For Harish Rao, it is good, but not for KCR. It is a BJP choice more than Congress.
Okay, I want to just go and, Abhilash says, do you also feel the low turnout is because of the utter disillusionment and loss of hope in all major parties? Guys, did you see this on the ground? Did you feel like people were tired
No.
of all parties? No?
I don't think it's the utter disillusionment. I think, see,
Yeah,
Anjana
I
was saying,
mean,
everyone is saying there's hatred against KCR, but I think there is no such hatred against KCR. It's just that some people are restless that they couldn't get an employment opportunity. Those were the ones who campaigned
That is
against him.
why
And
the anger, no?
so, but by and large, there's not much of anti KCR. I mean, if there was such a strong hatred against him, large numbers would have come and
Yeah.
voted,
I mean, you would have actually
participated in the.
seen hatred, like what Bala said, right? Like if you normally, if there is a lot of hate
Anger.
or anger against the government, you would see people coming out in slightly larger numbers. At least like old cities.
Correct.
I mean, I'm still baffled by the fact that Charminar and Yakutpura, which are the core MIM areas, which people say have like 100% MIM support, have the lowest voter percentage, like 34 and 27%, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah.
That actually, even I would go so far as to say that that probably also means that a lot of Muslims who are even against the MIM are not really voting, right? Like that's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
So
that's
I'll again quickly go back to some of the comments so that we also interact with people a little bit more. Yeah.
Pooja, before that, we will just give a give the latest update on the Sea Voter exit polls.
Yeah.
The Sea Voter has actually predicted 38 to 54 seats for BRS and 49 to 65 seats for the Congress, and 5 to 13 seats for the BJP, and 5 to 9 seats for AIMIM. So this is a huge number, 5 to 13 seats for the BJP. So I think Jan Ki Baat has also given more or less the same number. So if in case if it is 13 seats for the BJP, what does it say, Yunus? And is it going to change the entire dynamics of who will form the government in
I
Telangana?
mean,
Because
BJP
BJP and
has so many.
the Congress has been campaigning, saying that KCR is the B team of BJP. BJP and KCR are in a indirect alliance.
Yeah, but
Throughout the
everybody is saying
campaign, yeah.
everybody is B team, right, Shabir?
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
another
you
thing.
have MIM that is saying something else, and I think this whole B team business is now very confusing at this point of time. But I think,
That's the
however,
whole point, no, to confuse the voter,
yeah,
voter.
but I would still say, the Prime Minister saying that KCR wanting to join the NDA was a very interesting development, which was not something that had been done before. Like, you have people talking about this, ye uska hai, wo uska hai, but then the Prime Minister coming out and saying KCR wanted to join the NDA. Now, the only repercussion that I would see of that happening is of Muslims being a little wary of voting for the BRS, because they would maybe think twice now, saying this guy has officially said that KCR wanted to join us, right? that might harm the. I think that is one thing that the BRS will love because that is the only thing that can majorly impact a very close election, right? If you have, let's say, for example, let's say a seat what do you call that seat? Nalgonda urban. Sorry. Nizamabad urban. My bad. Nizamabad urban is a seat where I think in 2014 when MIM contested it, it came second. I think that was an unexpected thing that even I was surprised with. So it kind of this whole B team business will see a bit of realignment as to how Muslims probably vote also in this election. I think
Okay.
it might have an impact if you ask me.
Yeah. I want to go
And also,
to some of the comments. Veena Nair asked if Congress
no,
wins or
I want to ask this question. Pooja, you are going to answer this question. If Congress wins, Veena Nair asks if Congress wins and it has two CM faces, Revant Reddy and Uttam Kumar Reddy, will Telangana go the Karnataka CM Deputy CM way? If yes, is Telangana ready for it? Pooja, what's your take on this?
I am not in the business of predicting. There
No,
are
you
a
are
lot of
first, like you are eligible to answer this question. One, you are from Karnataka, and two, you have extensively reported on Telangana. So you know what exactly happened in Karnataka. So you will
yeah.
be the better person
But
to answer this.
but the short answer is unlikely, simply because I do not think. I mean, let's be clear. When Uttam Kumar Reddy was the party president, the numbers that the Congress got did not even come close to what we are looking at right now. So if Congress does win, then the credit will go to Revant Reddy. So I don't know what Uttam Kumar Reddy can really do in terms of kind of calling the shots. In Karnataka, the campaign was on both the faces, Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar. Here, that was not the case. It was a Revant Reddy show all along. So I don't see a Karnataka kind of situation happening here. No.
So what about the other CM aspirants in the Congress party? I think a lot of people were coming out and they were throwing their hat in the ring, including the CLP leader who comes from a Dalit community.
Yeah. So I agree with what Pooja is saying. I don't. I'd be very surprised if it's anybody but Revant. That being said, I think it's understood even inside Congress for the most part. Uttam Kumar Reddy is a different conversation altogether. But if you're speaking about the CLP leader, I think at this point the throwing your hat in the ring business is more for. I would assume for a proper cabinet post. I don't look at it as necessarily the chief ministership itself, right? Because I don't see how it could work against Revant Reddy at this point.
By the way, also
Okay.
let's not forget that Uttam Kumar Reddy is a person who has lost two elections very badly in Telangana. 2014. And he's lost a bunch of important by-elections. His wife lost his own seat. Okay, so if you go by track record, I don't think there's much for Uttam Kumar to show that he has done or accomplished in Telangana.
I think but if I may just very quickly respond to what was asked earlier about BJP gaining better traction, I think the caste politics of Telangana would be very, very interesting if BJP does, gain a
Yes.
little more ground than it has. I think what happens to the Mudiraj community, what happens to the SC Nagar community, and how Malas and the SC subcaste will react to that, all those would be very, very interesting questions, which the answer of which we will know. If
Yep,
and
yep,
when.
absolutely.
Okay.
I think the backward class communities, what Anjana said, is going to make a very big difference.
Okay, we'll reserve the rest of the conversation for December 3rd. We will be coming back. But before I hand it over to Shabir to once again take us through the numbers, I want to quickly read some comments. Panu says this channel supports Congress party. No, we do not. We are just putting out the numbers based on the surveys that other channels have put. This is not our survey.
So
We
I
do
think
not
the
support
exit
Congress
poll
or
supports
BRS or
Congress.
anybody.
Yeah, the exit polls actually support Congress. We are not
Yeah,
supporting Congress.
this is not
So
on
here
us.
are the numbers once again. The exit polls from the exit polls. TV9 Bharatvarsh Polstrat predicts that BRS will get 48 to 58 seats and Congress will get 49 to 59 seats and BJP will get 5 to 10 seats and AIMIM 6 to 8 seats. E-mark for BRS, it's 37 to 51 seats, and 58 seats, 58 to 71 seats for the Congress Party, and 2 to 6 seats for the BJP, and 6 to 8 seats for the AIMIM, and Jan Ki Baat, 40 to 55 seats for the BRS, and 48 seats to 64 seats for the Congress, 7 to 13 seats for the BJP, and 4 to 7 seats for AIMIM. India TV CNX, 31 to 47 seats for the BRS, 63 to 79 seats for the Congress, and 2 to 4 seats for the BJP, and 5 to 7 seats for AIMIM. And ABP voter, which is the latest survey, which gives 38 to 54 seats for BRS, and 49 to 65 seats for the Congress, 5 to 13 seats for the BJP, and 5 to 9 seats for AIMIM. So these are the numbers that are playing out on all the TV channels. So somebody is asking, does News Minute have an exit poll of their own? No, we don't have an exit poll of our own. These are exit polls from TV channels conducted by different agencies. The TV channels are also putting out numbers for all the 5 states, and going by the TV channels, one can clearly understand which way the 5-state election results are going, because Prime Minister Narendra Modi has replaced the TV screens, and it's BJP President JP Nadda who is there on all the TV screens. So clearly, it gives us some kind of suggestion where the exit polls are heading towards. But to our viewers, do join us on December 3rd, because that's where 5 independent media houses, including the Scroll, the Wire, Caravan, and the News Minute and News Laundry, are coming together, and we will be giving our analysis on the 5-state election results, what it matters to the state, and what will be the national picture for the 2024 elections. So back to you, Pooja, and for all the viewers who have joined us, thank you so much for watching. And Pooja, over to you.
Yeah, I want to quickly plug the amazing work that our Hyderabad bureau has done over the last few weeks, a couple of months. Do visit our website and catch up on all the stories on important issues, ground reports, opinion pieces, interviews, all of them on our website, and also watch the interviews that we've done on our YouTube channel. And most importantly, do support our journalism. We are independent and we seek only your support. So we have 2 more days, so consider contributing to a joint election fund. On December 3rd, like Shabir said, we'll be back, and we will have a panel. If you're tired of the shouting matches on all the TV channels, we are your option. We will bring you sane, noiseless analysis from people with decades of experience and also ground reporters. So do join us on the 3rd of December. For today, we're going to sign off so that we can go back and complete the rest of our work. I thank you for joining on behalf of the News Minute team. Thank you.
Thank you.